Hey folks, Chad here. This is not the hippie you're looking for. And today I want to talk about Magic Earth because recently, at least within the past few months, maybe year, it got an update that kind of ruined a lot of things and took it from a free model to a freemium model to where you can install it and use it, but a lot of the features that used to be completely free now cost some subscription price or something. I haven't looked into the pricing or anything like that. I honestly haven't updated the app on my devices, so I can still use it completely free. I can still have offline maps and all that kind of stuff. But since they've done that, and I don't know if it's owned by a different company or something now, I haven't completely looked into it. I just know not to update. And I've honestly just stopped using it because that even happened. Just because it's kind of like a big turnoff for me, and I don't want to be involved in that kind of model, kind of like meetup.com. I kind of pretty much completely stopped using that once they jacked up their prices and started taking away a bunch of features, like seeing which people are going to show up to an event, which is pretty important information. And to make that kind of thing subscriber only is pretty garbage. So what do I recommend instead? Organic maps, actually. So back when I did the last video on Magic Earth in 2023, 2024, back then organic maps, I honestly had a lot of challenges with. And in my experience, navigating around the Tucson, Arizona area and the rural areas around it, I had a lot of issues. It would take me off of the main road, into people's driveways, and then into a neighborhood just to get right back out onto that main road. And it's why not just continue straight? What's going on here? But I haven't had any issues like that in the last year or so. So they've really come a long way in improving the app. In the areas that I hang around in, I've done a decent amount of work updating OpenStreetMaps for the roads that I travel, like speed limits and stuff, so that the guesstimate on when you're going to arrive is somewhat accurate. Actually pretty accurate. I've added a lot of the places that I go to. That way I can navigate to them without just having personal pins on there, because I use Osmond for my personal pins. I don't use organic maps just because, I don't know, on organic maps, the pinning system is a little weird, and I like how advanced Osmond is. So that would be my second recommendation, is Osmond, because I honestly use that to navigate now too. So even back then, I wouldn't use Osmond to navigate because it was kind of weird about it, and would take you weird routes and use secondary roads instead of primary roads whenever I wanted to use primary, because there is an option to use highway or not. And I do have different profiles set up to where my truck route is avoid highways, no interstates, on purpose. But then I have a car profile which will take me on interstates and stuff. So if I do want to just get there as fast as possible. So Osmond is pretty decent. Mine is pretty configured. I don't know what the default Osmond setup is and how well it'll navigate you as you want to, but it is a really good app. It's really great for pins, and having the Wikipedia information is pretty great. Being able to do the 3D terrain looking around is kind of fun sometimes if you're bored. And just genuinely curious about an area that you haven't been to before, and you want to understand why the roads are the way they are and stuff, you can kind of pan around and play way back in the day with Google Earth or something. So yeah, organic maps actually pretty good these days, and its edit features are pretty helpful too. So if a place isn't there, you can easily just hit add business, type in some quick information, and then it gets uploaded both to OpenStreetMaps, and it's immediately available on your device. So you don't have to wait for OpenStreetMaps to update and then Organic Maps to push down those updates. You just have it on your device just as it's going to be on the next map download. So that's pretty sweet. And it also has, dark mode and a few other features. Sometimes the navigation can be a little weird. I don't know if they've fixed it yet because I've been using Osmond mostly recently, but I was having issues where say you need to turn pretty soon, it would still be really far zoomed out to where I couldn't really gauge is it this street or the next street. I can't see well enough, and it's as you start slowing down based on your speed, it pans back and forth. So as I started slowing down, it would start zooming in, but it'd be too late. I would miss the turn because it was too difficult to see which turn it was, and maybe the street names weren't on OpenStreetMaps yet, which isn't always an issue. Like, this is only like when I was traveling across the country and I was in places where I wasn't normally. But when I'm using it in, like, maybe I go from Flagstaff, Arizona to Prescott, Arizona, in that case, it's usually pretty fine. It's pretty okay. But like in a small town in New Mexico where like no one has updated the information for like 12 years in OpenStreetMaps, and you know, that kind of situation is where using OpenStreetMap type navigation apps isn't really ideal. But I definitely don't use Google Maps, don't use Bing Maps, is that even a thing? Waze, I don't use any of that. I only use Osmond and Organic Maps now. And rarely I will use Magic Earth if someone gives me like a street address and I want to navigate to that. But anymore, I'll plug that into either the web version of Google Maps in like a private browser or into Magic Earth, and I'll get the GPS coordinates, and then I'll save the GPS coordinates to Osmond, and then I'll use Osmond to navigate based on the coordinates. Because Osmond does not handle addresses well at all. And Organic Maps is actually pretty decent. If you plug it in to Organic Maps, a lot of times the house numbers aren't on the system, but it'll have like the block. So like, let's say you're going to 1936 Wood Avenue, I don't know. You plug that into Organic Maps and it'll say, okay, well, this section of Wood Avenue is 1800 to 2000. So it'll at least get you that far. And then you can either show up and like look at the house numbers, or like if you're looking for a business, then you can look for the sign, or plug it into Google Maps or something else, get the GPS coordinates, and then don't actually navigate on that app, but take it over to the app you want to use. Yeah, so that's my update on navigation apps and Magic Earth. I do not recommend the newest Magic Earth updates. And if you know how to use the Aurora store and to pull old APKs, or there's probably other websites online, then the old APK, the blue one, I'll put like old one here, new one over here, or maybe vice versa. Left side old, right side new, and kind of show the difference there in case you do want to go download the old one and test it out and see if you like it, because it does use a like union of OpenStreetMaps data as well as some private data. I don't know where they're getting it. But yeah, the app itself, I guess, isn't open source, which someone commented on that previous video and let me know that. And I think they actually recommended Organic Maps back then. And yeah, so that's about it. Thanks for watching, folks. Peace out. Take care.